everyone, this is my first time vlogging. Um, I decided to start vlogging after fooling around with Facebook Live um, this weekend after we buried my uncle. For the past 2 days, I've been playing around with it and I kind of enjoyed it. So I was like, I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to try it out. So, welcome. Hopefully, I'll be able to inspire someone. Hopefully, you might be able to inspire me. Um, I want to start my first vlog talking about love because that's something that is, I hear it over and over and over again. It's a word that has been tossed around a whole lot, and I don't think some people really know what it means. Love is a very powerful word. Um, Many don't understand. It's short. It's 4 letters, but it's powerful. The word love says a lot. And I want to start out by sharing the first time that I was actually in love with someone. It was back in 2004, 2005. And I met Wendell, and he was from Charleston. And I remember the first time he came to pick me up for our first date. And he came and picked me up. And I was like, okay, not bad. So he opened the door for me. And I was like, I could have did it myself. I don't need anyone to open the door for me. And I don't know if it's because I'm independent or what the case might be. But I was like, I can open the door by myself. I do not need anybody to open the door for me. I got it. So he was like, well, I got it. Let me open the door because that's what I'm supposed to do. And I was like, I can do it by myself. I don't need nobody to open the door for me. I always open the door for myself, so I could do it. And he was like, let me open the door. Thank you. And so, um, I allowed him to like open the door, and when we got to the destination, again, I had that I could do it by myself. I don't need anyone to do because I do it any other time. And he was like, let me do it. And so I knew that from there it was going to be a different type of relationship per se with him. And I, when I, as time went by, uh, we would talk every day. And then when I would come home, we were always together. And like, there would be times where I'd be babysitting and he'd just come and get me and my niece and nephew, and we would just go. And the more and more that we started dating and getting to know each other, the more that our relationship began to develop. And we weren't always boyfriend and girlfriend. In fact, it was over a year before I would actually say, that's my boyfriend. That's crazy. Um, my mom was like, that's your boyfriend. And I'd be like, no, that's not my boyfriend. He's my friend. And that's it. Um, because I was uncertain about allowing someone to come in my space and actually loving me. Um, I just knew what was around me, things that I had seen, my friends' relationships and things like that. And I just was like, I can't do it. I'm not, no. And so, fast forward, um, we were talking, then it turned to a boyfriend girlfriend situation. Um, in fact, it was serious. Like, it were real serious. And we had our ups and downs. In fact, we kind of broke up, and he began dating other people. And but the one thing that I knew was that his love for me never changed. Like, he was still in love with me even talking to someone else. And there were times that he would say certain things that let me know that he still was in love with me. I remember when his father died, because he was helping to take care of his father. And I remember when his father died, and I was the first person that he called to tell that his father had died. And he was like, I need you to come home. I want you to come home. And I remember I had just gotten back to school. In fact, I drove and I just gotten back. And it was snowing. And I was like, I cannot drive my car home. So I wound up getting a rental. No one knew that I was coming home. I got a rental and I drove through the snow. And it was crazy because I had my cousin with me. And he was like, come on, let's go. And I was like, and we almost had an accident. But I knew I had to get home. And I remember when he saw me, his face lit up and he just hugged me. And fast forwarding, we stopped talking again somehow. But then we started back. We were right back. It was like a magnet. And we started talking again. And I remember it was crazy because I was in summer school. And one of the things that he made sure was that I had to finish school, because I had some ups and downs with about school. And he was adamant that I had to finish school. I had to finish it. It was not an option. And I remember I was in summer school and I threw this little small house party, apartment party. And I was like, oh my gosh, the people done called and complained and called and told my dad. Because his name was on the lease. My name and his name was on the lease. I was like, oh my gosh, they called and told my dad. Oh gosh. Because he kept calling me. And my mama kept calling my friends, my homegirls. And I remember I was in class, and after class I was like, let me just go ahead and suck it in to call my daddy back and see what is going on, what is happening. You know, if he fusses, he's just gonna have to fuss, because I don't know. And I remember him answering the phone, and I forgot to pay my phone bill, so I had to go in the library to pay my phone bill, which meant the internet was not working. And I remember my dad was like, Wendy's dead. And I was like, no, he's not, because I had talked to him the day before. And I was like, no, he's not, because I've talked to him. In fact, I'm waiting on him to call me. And he was like, I'm telling you, Wendy's dead. And I was like, no, he's not. He was like, Wendy is dead. And I was like, no, he's not. Like, he's not dead. He's alive. And he was like, I'm telling you. So I have this habit of checking the obituaries every day. It was something my cousin started me on. The same cousin that rode with me when Wendell's dad died. Same cousin got me started looking at the obituary. And it's like, this is a little awkward. In the meantime, my mom was talking to my friends and telling them so that they could kind of prepare me for the news, because my parents weren't here. And when I went to look, I was in the library and I was like, let me go and pay the bill first, so that way by the time I get home, it'd be on. And I remember sitting in the library. I was like, I'll check the Post and Courier while I'm here. And I just started crying. And I was crying. And I was crying. Like, it was waterfall tears. Like, real waterfall. Like, it just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And I remember when my homegirl finally found where I was, she was like, you already know. And I was just crying. And I remember I attempted to drive. And she was like, no, pull over, let me drive, because you can't drive under like this. You can't, like, no, you cannot drive like this. No, ma'am. And I just remember crying. And I remember once we got back to my apartment, I just curled up in a ball and I just bawled. I was just crying. Like I was boohoo crying because he was my love. Like he was the love of my life. Like I couldn't believe that he was gone. And I remember that like my friends were telling me, you gotta get up. You can't stay like that. Get up, get yourself together and come on. And I just bawled. And so I told him, I was like, go ahead and go get something to eat because I didn't have anything in the house or whatever because they ate the food. And I just remember I was bawling and still bawling. And I remember that they literally had to like punk me and was like, go take a shower. If you're not going to eat, go take a shower and get in the bed. And I remember that after I took that shower and I was laying in the bed, it's like I felt a presence on me and it was like in my face. And I felt like he was letting me know that he was okay because I was like, I don't care if you stay in here with me, but you got to be on the side of me. Like, you can't stay in my face because it's scaring me. And I felt the presence move to the side of me, and it stayed there. And that was like love, because like I never broke down like that. Like, it was like, oh my gosh, like my love is gone. Like, it's gone. And so I tried the dating thing. Met a few people that they tossed the word around, but it was obvious that they were not in love. In fact, a lot of them don't even know what the hell they want. One of them didn't know what they wanted to do. And one thing that I don't have time for is foolishness. Like, don't play no games with me because I'm a grown ass woman. Like, excuse my language, I'm not supposed to be cursing. But I'm a grown woman. Don't play no games. So I tried dating again after him. And one dude was more concerned about what was going on in the streets than trying to develop a relationship. And my thing was, I can't compete with the streets. I'm not going to compete with the streets. Then another one, I attempted again. And this one was more concerned about what was going on in the streets, but then didn't want to do anything. Like, didn't want to. And I was like, and then they would say, I love you. And I'd be looking at them like, you don't love me. And like, time and time again, I just like, oh my gosh. Um, and love does not mean that you have to have sex. Just because you love someone, you don't have to have sex. Because that's not a relationship. Is not based upon sex. And that's going to be another topic for another day. Um, but like, the crazy thing is sometimes certain things happen in mysterious ways. And there was someone that I met kind of indirectly, but directly, if that even makes sense. Um Known him for a long time. Um Somehow we kind of connected with each other. Um Off and on, we would see each other. Um And I was adamant that I was not going to let them know how I feel about them, because I learned to put my feelings back in the ball and hide it. Put it away, pack it up real good, and put it away. And they admitted how they felt. And then I decided to try, because I realized that you can't hold how you feel inside. You gotta let it be known. And I remember that the person told me that they loved me. And I was like, I was scared to say how I felt, because I know that I was starting to develop some type of feelings for the person. And I decided, well, I guess it's okay. And I told them I love you too. And like, one thing about me, I'm very bossy. I like to be in charge. I don't like to let other people be in charge, because I'm bossy. It's just in my nature. I have to know. That's how I feel. I have to know, and I have to be in charge. It's going to be my way, or it's going to be no way at all. But with this person, it hasn't quite worked that way. I've had to learn again to allow someone else to take control, or to be in charge. And I've had to learn that it's okay to allow someone to be in charge, and allow someone to take charge of the situation. And it's okay. Because sometimes love will make you do some crazy things. If you're going to love, you got to be acceptive. If you're going to love, you got to be open to allowing someone to come into your space. If you're going to love, you got to be able not to allow what others may think or say to control what happens with how you feel and what happens in your life. Because love is real. If you don't mean it, don't say it. But if you say it, that means that you mean it, and you got to stand by it, regardless of what people think, regardless of what people say, because it's all about your happiness. I don't know what more else to say, but love, a 4-letter word.